In this video today, the FBI refuses to turn over documents to the Department of Justice as demanded by the Attorney General. Also, more fallout from Elon Musk's email to federal workers. Both of these stories and more in this video, but let's catch you up on the Epstein files and what some people are saying that they probably have already been destroyed.
The Attorney General says she's disappointed because she wanted all of the files to be released yesterday, but she says that the FBI field office in New York was hanging on to files from the Epstein case. She wants those files delivered to DOJ. She wrote the FBI Director Patel, "I'm directing you to conduct an immediate investigation into why my order to the FBI was not followed. You will deliver to me a comprehensive report of your findings and propose personnel action within 14 days. She wanted them delivered here at the DOJ by 8 a.m. this morning. We asked if they arrived. No word yet. Mr. Patel said in a statement, Director Patel said in a statement, there will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, and no stone left unturned. And anyone from the prior or current Bureau who undermines this will be swiftly pursued. If there are gaps, we will find them. If records have been hidden, we will uncover them."
Now, I think one of the biggest takeaways from yesterday's debacle is what Thomas Massie put up this morning. He said the fact that the Epstein files haven't yet been released demonstrates that the president doesn't yet have operational control of the DOJ and FBI. It could take a while to establish, or as with his first term, it might never be established. And so the bottom line here is it's not likely that the files will be released. Elon Musk in the comment section said this, "I'm sure they will establish control, but to do so, they need to bring on new people, exit the bad eggs, and promote lower ranking good people to higher ranks." Again, that's going to take some time, of course. That's not going to happen overnight. And here's another thing, another comment I want to bring to your attention. Attorney General Pam Bondi can't be for transparency when it's after 8 a.m. and not a single word or update. Transparency would be a video or a tweet update right after the clock struck 8 a.m. Right now, it looks like all other papers and evidence, as far as we know, has been destroyed. And of course, I'm recording this later in the day. I'm in California. There's been zero update from her office or anyone from the White House on this particular story. And that's why in this next clip that I'm going to show you from a Fox News legal analyst, he delivers a clear warning to those FBI agents. And I hope this is what Kash Patel is saying, and also Pam Bondi. Watch this.
The New York field office, they knew that the Attorney General of our country was asking for these documents. They didn't hand them over. I've got a big problem with that.
Well, it could be criminal. You know, the Attorney General was sandbagged deliberately by our own employees at the FBI's New York field office, withholding thousands, as you point out, of documents, defying her order to hand everything over and then lying about it. You know, nobody should be surprised at the deceit and the sheer arrogance of the FBI, because the higher ranks are polluted with officials who think they're answerable to nobody. They can do as they please, and they do. It's become a cesspool of corruption. Started with Bob Mueller, accelerated under James Comey, and Chris Wray did nothing to resolve it. He covered it up.
That's exactly what President Trump, Elon Musk, is all about, is rooting out the federal bureaucracy, these individuals who believe they are, I guess, higher than the president. They don't answer to the president. They don't answer to anybody. That they can make their own decisions, and there's no chain of command. And so if we look into the story a little further and do our research, I'm using Ground News. And if you guys want to check this out for yourself, you can go to ground.news/Devore. You hear me say it all the time. We love this website. This is what we use to produce the show. Why is that? Because it shows us exactly what both sides are saying about this particular story. Let me show you exactly what the left is saying. So if I scroll down, it seems to me that the left isn't really talking about this, because they only have 7 actual articles on this versus 41 from outlets on the right. Now, an example of an article on the left is this: the Trump administration's Jeffrey Epstein stunt turns into a right-wing feud. Trump world starts to cannibalize itself over Pam Bondi's Epstein binder backlash. Obviously, we're not cannibalizing. It's called political discourse. We disagree. We agree with free speech. People have a right to their opinion. But again, this is how the left loves to spin it for the people who are actually wanting to talk about it, because again, the left's not really discussing this. And of course, outlets on the right are saying exactly what I've been saying. Bondi demands the FBI hand over Epstein documents. Another example is here. Kash Patel responds after Pam Bondi accuses the FBI of withholding Epstein documents. And I think that is very accurate. That's exactly what happened with the letter that was leaked online. where she clearly demanded to get all the documents by 8 a.m. this morning. Didn't happen, as we know. But again, guys, this is why it's important to do your research, because the left is going to act like this is not even a thing. They don't really talk about it, if at all. And of course, they're just going to turn it into, oh, MAGA is trying to eat itself, when that's not really even the truth. And that's why I like using this tool to see what both sides are saying.
And this is why I love Ground News, and you will too. So subscribe through my link at ground.news/Devori, or download the mobile app and use offer code Devori for 40% off the Vantage plan, which will give you unlimited access to everything that we just covered in this video.
You know, Kash Patel has his work to cut out to purge the FBI, and I expect he will quickly identify and likely fire whomever committed this gross insubordination. And by the way, those people better be on the phone tonight to good criminal defense attorneys, because willfully concealing documents from the Attorney General, misrepresenting the truth, looks very much like obstruction of a federal agency. That's a crime. And if 2 or more people are involved, that's conspiracy to obstruct justice. So lawyer up, boys and girls.
And I think they should have a public hearing embarrassing these FBI agents, putting them on blast, so they can be used as an example of what not to do. When you're talking about the Attorney General and the FBI director instructing you to turn over documents and you destroy them, yeah, I think you should probably be going to prison for that, okay? Now, let's go to our next story, because this is also catching a lot of heat still. And that is the whole Elon Musk versus Democrats as it relates to the email that was sent out. People are still losing their minds over it. But let's first hear some common sense from Senator John Kennedy.
Well, do you ever notice when the critics of what we're finding complain, they never talk about what we're finding. They don't want to talk about the spending porn. They want to talk about the process. And they don't like Elon Musk because he wears, I don't know, he wears Crocs to a wedding. They don't like the way he dresses. They don't like the way it's being done. But they never criticize what he's finding, because they can't. It's spending porn.
Now, when he says spending porn, I think that's the perfect term, because Doge every single day is posting exactly what either we spent money on or what we were planning to spend money on. And here's just a latest example of this, right? And just look at the dollar amounts, okay? $74 million for inclusive justice in Colombia. $74 million. How about this one? $79 million for primary literacy in Kenya. I don't even know what that means. $37 million, here's a good one, for female empowerment in Colombia. I think Colombia is just ranking in the dough, huh? Here's another one, which is interesting. $3.3 million for being LGBTQI in the Caribbean. I mean, we go on and on. Every single day, this account is posting line items, okay? And so it just begs the question, how long will Democrats continue to die on this hill, which is they continue to defend the spending and prosecute the person who's finding this wasteful spending? Here's what Mark Halperin had to say as well.
I think when historians write about this first month of the Trump administration, they're going to be bewildered by just the rank inability of the opposition to figure out how to talk about what's going on. And he saw there in sharp relief, as you said, just making claims about Elon Musk that have really nothing to do with the real lives of real people in America, but also just riffing on things that just hard to know where she was headed.
Yeah, so he was referencing Joy Behar, which we know there's nothing joyful about her, especially because she's one of the co-hosts on The View, which should have already been canceled by now. I'm still shocked they're on TV, to be honest with you. But anyways, what did she exactly say that prompted Mark to say that? Because the context here and why it relates to Doge is all this wasteful spending they're identifying. They have yet to ever criticize any of it. They want it to keep going. Now, here's what she had to say.
And Elon Musk kisses his butt and strokes his tiny ego or big ego, whatever it is. And he doesn't get to he can take a nap while the guy was not born in this country, who was born under apartheid in South Africa, so has that mentality going on. He was pro-apartheid, as I understand it.
He's a naturalized citizen.
Right?
Now.
He's a naturalized citizen.
Now he's a naturalized citizen.
Oh, really? How did he do that? Did he come over the border legally?
He had an H-1B visa, I believe.
He flew in.
Yeah, he allegedly overstayed that visa.
Yeah, but I think this is just perfectly wonderful for Trump. He can take a nap and let this foreign agent, an enemy of the United States, do his job.
Anybody else?
Elon, I wouldn't go as far as to necessarily call him an enemy of the United States yet. Let's give him a little bit of time.
Okay, well, clearly Elon Musk is not an enemy of the United States of America. That's just, again, that show being hyperbolic, which is why Alyssa had to say what she had to say in the end there. But even she was like, well, we have to wait and see. Yeah, listen, if that's what you guys are focused on, please, by all means, keep doing that. Because I know that's not what the everyday American out there feels. Okay, now they may not like the dramatics or some of the rhetoric, but they're not in their head thinking Elon Musk is the enemy of the state, especially when they're driving Teslas or using Starlink. I mean, it's just laughable. Now, in regards to that email that Elon Musk sent, you still have people coming out and losing their minds over it. Here's another example. It's a federal employee describing how she felt when she saw the email.
The email that came out wanting us to justify our jobs with 5 things we did last week was on Saturday night. And I was literally working on Saturday night to make up for all the distractions I had had the previous week, which came from the executive branch. And so I'm working, trying to catch up on things, and then I get that email on top of it. It's very hard to keep your train of thought when you're getting threatened and harassed like that.
Okay, so I guess the meaning of being threatened and harassed is different for her. She lives in a different reality, of course, when an email just asking you the 5 things you did last week is considered to be a threat. I mean, I just think that's misplaced, of course. And it just shows you the mindset of the federal workforce. Like, they've been very complacent for quite some time. It seems to me they have better protections than people in the private sector. And the problem is why do they have better protections? Should they have better protections? Not when taxpayer money is funding their salaries, they shouldn't. Of course, that's my own personal opinion. Here's another, federal contractor who had this to say.
I mean, everyone is on pins and needles. There are tenured professionals that are, maybe within months of retirement, but, they're trying to stick it out for everyone else and be brave. And the jobs that we do, I support the Defense Department, and the jobs that we do are so stressful. And to have this on top of it, I mean, I know that that's their goal, is to make it miserable. So the people that are staying and fighting, I just can't thank them enough.
How does that feel? Like, how does it feel? Your sense of service. But for you personally,
I'm devastated. I feel so bad for my colleagues. And don't forget about my colleagues that are overseas. And they don't even know how they're getting home. And they're just being terminated. They're just being shown the door. And wherever they land, that's all. That's it.
Now, listen, I don't believe people are just being left to the wolves there overseas. I'd like to see proof of that, of course. And if you guys have it, let us know in the comment section below. But I will tell you this. It does not matter whether they did this more methodically, slower, professionally. At the end of the day, you are still going to have people who come out, especially the Democratic Party, host town hall complaining about all this. Because Democrats, they don't want to cut wasteful spending. They don't want to reduce the size of government. They want to expand it. Everybody knows this. So unfortunately, on one hand, this is sad for a lot of people out there. They didn't do anything wrong and they are being laid off. But on the other hand, how else are we going to shrink the size of government if we don't do this? Now let's hear from somebody on the right, Kevin McCarthy. Here's what he had to say about all of this.
I did not think it was possible for the Democrats to even get worse messaging than when they attacked the cuts at USAID on the transgender operas in other countries. But now they want to attack Elon while they drive his Teslas. One of the things Elon has cut is the subsidy to pay to buy Teslas. He's hurt his own business to help the country. He has actually created things. Every other leader in every other country would love to have Elon in their country helping them build missiles, being able to go up to space and come back, being electric cars. I mean, this is amazing what he is doing. Instead of attacking Elon, they should join with him. If they ever want to get back into the majority, they should join him instead of attacking him. But they're attacking immigrants? How's that going to help them?
Now, he's making the point that we brought up a couple of times already just this past week. Where's the alternative strategy or plan from the Democratic leadership? Hey, here's how we would love to work with Elon Musk. But you don't see that. What you see is full-on Elon Musk derangement syndrome, bottom line. Now, this actually takes us to the next point here, because Democrats want to cancel contracts that Elon Musk has with the federal government, even though, for an example, Verizon has already proven that they have a poor level of service. They can't meet the demand for the air traffic control systems, and Starlink is that better option. Democrats don't want that contract to happen. They're calling 100% conflict of interest, and billionaire Musk is enriching himself. Well, here's what Mike McCarthy had to say about that.
Well, and what about the issue of the freeze on Musk's contracts? They're pushing for that as well, because again, look, he's created an enormous amount of wealth, not just for himself, but millions of people around the world and opportunities, and obviously incredible advances in technology. But they believe, the Democrats, can't have any more federal dollars going to him because he's volunteering his time to cut spending in Washington. Kind of follow that logic.
Well, you know what that would do? All that would do would help China. Before Elon Musk, we did not build a rocket engine in America. He went out and did it himself so we could go. We have astronauts stuck in space. We need Elon to go get them. We have a disaster in America. We need satellites. Starlink that Elon has created. Elon creates something and helps the government in that process. He makes America stronger. And now they want to attack him because he's actually, who is he looking out for? The hardworking taxpayer. That should be their job as elected official, and they won't do it. And he's volunteering to do it. He should be given a medal.
Now, here's what Elon Musk had to say about this issue. To be clear here, the Verizon communication system to air traffic control is breaking down very rapidly. The FAA assessment is single-digit months to catastrophic failure, putting air traveler safety at serious risk. The Starlink terminals are being sent at no cost to the taxpayer on an emergency basis to restore air traffic control connectivity. The situation is extremely dire. And of course, the opposite side to this debate is this. Elon Musk is trying to get Verizon's FAA contract canceled so that he can give the $2.4 billion contract to his Starlink company. Musk is literally going into the government and pocketing billions for himself. Massive conflicts of interest, 100% illegal. Clearly, I don't believe it's illegal. And here's where common sense goes out the window when you're talking about federal government contracts. Politics says Elon Musk should not get this contract. Common sense says Elon Musk should be considered in regards to getting this contract. I mean, at a minimum, it should be considered. You're talking about air travel safety here. Okay, so this leads us to the question of this video. Given the fact that the FBI clearly did not turn over all the documents from the Epstein file case at the 8 a.m. deadline from Pam Bondi, where are you at on all this? Do you believe Pam Bondi should be criticized, thrown to the wolves, forced to resign? Or do you believe it's simple as what was stated in the video, where they just don't have control over the Department of Justice or the FBI at this point because they just came in? Given everything you've heard up to this point, let me know your direct reaction to this story in the comment section below. Now, I'm sure you heard of the debacle earlier today inside the Oval Office that led to Zelenskyy being kicked out of the White House because of the heated exchange between him, President Trump, and Vice President J.D. Vance. Now, if you missed out on that exchange and the reactions to it, all you have to do is click on my video because it's coming up right now.